So I honestly had no idea that Amazon had original films such as Netflix, and I gotta say, after watching Tomorrow War, if this is a testament to their original content, muy caliente. I know I'm a little bit late to this review. I wanted to do this several weeks ago when I first watched this movie. In fact, I was so hyped about it after I stopped watching it that I had two options. Watch it again because it was really good, or make a video. I watched it again with the sole purpose of absolutely critiquing the titties off of that movie. Gazing into the soul of that film, slicing into each frame and pixel with my corneas, trying to dissect what the film was about and pick out as many flaws or shortcomings as I could. I was pretty unsuccessful. Alrighty guys, so I got my cell phone pulled out here. I'm not texting on the job or anything like that. I have some notes pulled up here. I have some notes pulled up that I typed in while I was watching the movie. The second time. The first time, obviously, I paid 110% attention to it. Was watching it with my girlfriend. And then the second time, as a movie buff / connoisseur, I wanted to pour this into a champagne flute and take a sip. This is a passion project of Chris McKay and Zach Dean, and I have to say they did a phenomenal job with this film. It is a long movie at 2 hours and 18 minutes, including the credits, of course, but I never actually lost interest or wanted it to be over. Generally, if a movie's over about an hour and 45 minutes, 2 hours at tops, I get a little bit fidgety or bored, or I just, start picking apart loopholes in the third act and whatnot. That really didn't happen here. It never lost pacing, and I never really wanted it to be over. If I was watching this in theaters, I'd hold my bladder until it bursted and trickled down the chair so I didn't have to miss a moment of this flick. Okay, it's a little bit excessive, but it's pretty good. Now, like I mentioned on my second watch through, I literally started paying attention to every detail in the background and whatnot, and just little details that you pick up on. Like, for example, every extra that plays a soldier in the background has trigger discipline, has their fingers straight and off the trigger. Generally, when they cast extras, they find some hobo, pull the needle out of his arm, clean the piss off his pants, and get him in the studio for an afternoon shoot. But literally, even the extras were like well groomed. And as this is an action movie, action-packed it is. There are huge scale action scenes. I mean, huge scope and scale. You see a big old mighty draw distance. If this was a video game, you'd be stuttering frame rate because of that draw distance. There's, stuff going off in the distance, explosions and whatnot. The enemies are a good design in my opinion. They're not over the top, but they are scary, they're believable, and they are lethal. They are fast, they're aggressive, but they do go down. The story was super deep without being confusing, but it had many layers like an onion, as well as some twists, some delicious cinnamon bread twists. And one of the biggest things for me when I'm watching a movie is, does it put a tick in all the boxes? That's why I like the Rush Hour movies and the Mummy series, because they have comedy, they have action, they have a little bit of seriousness, some lightheartedness, and then more action. And this literally had that. It had some tear-jerking moments. I'm not going to spoil anything whatsoever because I do strongly recommend you watch this video, but it had some tear-jerking moments with Chris Pratt and his daughter. There must have been some dust in the air. Maybe my allergies were flared up, but my eyes got a watering. It's like I had a freshwater spring in my tear ducts. It was moist in there. The soundtrack, absolute banger. Wasn't overpowering, but sunk in at just the right moments to add to the emotion and the immersion of the scene. The audio design is also very good. So besides the actual music, the soundtrack, just the general audio design, the ambiance of the environment. I had surround sound cranking, and it sounded very, very good. You hear the ruffling of wind off in the trees and whatnot. The sound that the alien creatures make sounds like a banshee, a wailing. Sounds nothing sweet and nice. Gunfire, explosions, it all sounded crisp and clear. Now, from a firearms and weapons handling standpoint, it does appear that Chris Pratt and the young lady who played his daughter appear to have had some weapons training like the John Wick series. Weapon swaps are fast, but there are a lot of shooting with no reloading, so they most likely have the unlimited ammo perk on because they're dumping 600 round magazines and whatnot. But honestly, there were a couple moments where, it didn't look like a stunt double. It didn't look like a CGI'd version of Chris Pratt, but he is literally, racking the slide back, clearing a jam, switching to his secondary, and it happens lightning fast. There is one moment, I might have it playing on screen here if I'm getting frisky with my post-editing, but he just quickly swaps weapons and just mag dumps into this alien's face, and oh, good golly, Miss Molly. Speaking of weapons, everyone's carrying around a P90 or a meta pimped out AR with canted dots. Literally, canted dots are very popular in this show. Great humor. So I literally had to wear knee pads on my second watch through just because I knew that my knee was going to get a little bit raw from all the knee slapping. I also had to do a little bit of stretching on my obliques because there are some side splitters as well. Seriously funny moments, perfectly landed, natural and unforced humor. I loved it. It also seemed like every role, every character was perfectly cast. Like seriously, everyone just fit perfectly into the role that they were cast into, which are kind of rare for action comedies. There's also a vast array of scenery. There's a lot of, torn up urban environments. Then near the end of the movie in the third act, they're in the snow whipping around on snowmobiles just to keep your adrenaline pegged out through the roof. And touching one more again on the weapon selection for the movie, whenever they are in these different environments, the tight urban quarters, or they're out in the snow, when they were in the long draw distance snow and whatnot, they're running a lot of DMRs or designated marksman rifles with scopes and optics. So it just seemed kind of realistic in that aspect. And finally, like I said, I'm not going to spoil anything whatsoever, but I will say this movie definitely makes you think about global warming. By the end of the movie, if you aren't thinking to yourself, holy mother of God, maybe I'll get myself an EV or an electronic vehicle. Hey, that might be a bit of a stretch, but I don't know. EVs are getting pretty sweet nowadays with the Teslas and the Porsches and the Ford F-150 Lightning and the new Hummer. Electronic vehicles are getting pretty sweet. Yeah, it makes you really think about global warming. And you're probably thinking to yourself, what is this, an environmentalist documentary or something, Kevin? This is an action comedy. Just trust me. Watch this bad boy. At the end, you'll be like, ooh, global warming. Yep. Icebergs melting. Makes sense. So overall, 10 out of 10 would recommend. It's a very, very good movie. And like I said, I didn't even know Amazon made originals. Apparently, they've been doing this for a long time, and I'm just slow, just mentally slow, which it really shouldn't surprise anybody around here. It is a grand film, a grand and majestic film that I recommend to my best friend and my worst enemy to sit down together after beating the ever-living shit out of each other and watch this together. We might be friends afterwards. If you enjoyed this movie review and would like me to do more like it, considering that is way out of the niche of what I generally do here at Gamer Heaven, a little blanket over there. If you want one of those, they're in the merch store. It's not like I'm just hogging these for myself. They're available to the public. There's a link for that in the description below. Oh, by the way, where can you watch this thing? Well, I've been saying the whole time it's an Amazon Prime exclusive. You can watch it on Amazon Prime. I've made a separate video a while ago about why Amazon Prime is like a must-have, and I think it was like 86% of North American households have Amazon Prime, so I'm pretty sure people have caught on to it by now. But besides the 2-day delivery, you're getting a music streaming platform for the car. If you're a gamer, you get like a free Twitch sub every month and in-game DLC and stuff like that. And you get a whole bunch of other stuff too. You get like free video storage, unlimited video storage for your like family photos and stuff. So there's a lot of stuff included with your subscription, which isn't cheap. I mean, it's like $120 a year, but well worth it in my opinion. There's way worse ways you can spend $120. If you do not have Amazon Prime, I do have a link in the description below to try that out for 30 days free with a little discount when you sign up. And I will see you guys tomorrow because I upload daily. I have missed a couple of daily uploads here recently. Forgive me. I've had a little bit of anxiety pressing go on the camera here recently, but I'm just going to start pumping these videos out. Even if it's just me, even if it's me just like streaking my nipples across the camera lens or something, I will be getting a video out per day. Peace.